What's up guys, and welcome back to On the Brick with another bonus video. And yes, more of these will be on the way. Last week I talked about my favorite minifigures that I got this year, and so I thought why not do the same for my custom sets. So that's what I'm going to do today. These are my top 5 custom sets that I reviewed in 2020. The top 4 aren't in any particular order, but number 1 is my favorite. But starting at number 5 will be my Minifig Scale UT80. I didn't put this on the list because I made it, more just because I made it. This was something that I set out to do and actually, well, did it. It's not perfect and it definitely has some areas that I'm still working on, but at least I got to this stage. I've never really tried to make a vehicle this big before, and I'm just happy with how it turned out. Like I said, I am still working on improving certain areas of this build, and once that is done, hopefully I can finally get some proper instructions done as well. But that's kind of been the story of the channel through this year. This was something that I want to do, so I might as well just do it. Oh, and by the way, links to the reviews of all these videos will be in the upper right hand corner. So if you would like to see more of them, make sure to check out the full videos. Number 4 on the list would be my Venator. That's actually a really weird set to include when you realize that it actually has a lot of problems, but I did go into it fully aware of those with a list of what I would need to do when to fix those problems. But I have wanted a Venator ever since episode 3 came out, and I loved Anio's version ever since he first released it, and even though this one wasn't exactly based off of that, I still did buy his instructions as I always do, and honestly this is a beast to have. I love having this in my room. I love having it as part of my collection, even if it did make me never want to put giant gray panels together ever again. Also, I did get this thing for myself for my birthday earlier this year, and it was a very fun way to spend the week, especially since I was just starting the channel at that time. And because of that, this is a video that I would definitely do differently now, but it is what it is. Number 3 is actually going to be 2 different sets, and that is the Republic gunship from Dave Customs and the Munilus 10 gunship as well. Originally I was going to have these be 2 separate entries, but I felt like that would be a little too much to do, especially since they are both just gunships. But again, the gunship is one of my favorite vehicles in all of Star Wars, which is why I got 2 different versions of them. And Dave Customs is one of the best designers out there, with people like Jarek or Rich Boy J, or well, honestly a lot of people. His gunship was a whole lot of fun to build, and it looks so great. There are some pieces in it that are a little problematic to get. You can switch them out though without it being too noticeable at all. But overall, the build process is fine, and the final product is great. In fact, this is one of the few models that I actually want to go and buy a few more of. I think having 2 or 3 of these would be really awesome. On the other side, the Munilus 10 gunship is not Minifig Scale and is instead just a play scale. It doesn't come with really any instructions, and the designer hasn't really responded to anyone for a while now. It ends up that the guy I tried to buy it from on eBay is the actual designer, so I don't know why he never responded or sent the email, or well, basically tried to scam me there. And while this build was absolutely way more frustrating than Dave Customs' gunship, the final product does look really good. I mean, it's the Munilus 10 gunship. I think any Star Wars fan would love to have this. The funny thing is that Dave Customs actually did design a playscale version of the gunship, but I just have zero interest in spending over $300 getting that. I think he said he was interested in making alternate versions of his Minifig Scale one, so maybe he'll make a Munilus 10 version there. At number 2 is a set that I wasn't really sure if I wanted to include on this list or not, and that is the Empire over Jedha. The biggest reason I'm including this on the list at all is only because it makes a great display piece. This thing looks really awesome and slightly intimidating sitting on my shelf. It's really awesome to see, and with Rogue One being my favorite Star Wars movie, I love having a piece of it here. So that's the good. The bad is that it's an incredibly tedious build to make, and more tedious than any other set I've ever built, as I think I spent 3 days just putting plates on top of plates on top of plates. And then the walls of the city don't really hold that well together, it's hard to push them in together, and the Star Destroyer is incredibly fragile beyond belief. And on top of that, the instructions do have problems. At least they did. I don't know if they do anymore, as the guy who designed them saw my video and actually emailed me a few months later. And they did explain to me that they did not have the time or ability to check the instructions thoroughly, as they would have to build the actual set alongside while doing that. Which is a really weird thing to say when what you're selling is so people can literally do that. Also, they said that people wouldn't know about the instruction problems unless someone reached out to them and told them, which is also weird because when you include the last point, I found the problems before I ever sat down and built the set. They are pretty obvious and pretty easy to find. But like I said, the final product does look good. Despite all that, I still don't know if I would recommend it though. But one set that I would absolutely highly recommend is the one in the #1 spot, the Razor Crest by Papa Glop. This is by far the best set that I built this year. In official LEGO and custom sets and everything, this is the best set that I built this year. To start off with, the instructions were really good. There were some minor points that definitely could have used improvement, but overall, I had no problem following the build. And that build itself was actually a whole lot of fun to do. Papa Glop broke this thing down into a bunch of different modules, making it easy to build, to handle, to move apart, to open up, to do anything with the set really. And when it's all finished and put together, it just looks magnificent. This thing is currently sitting on my kitchen table because I just love having it on display there, and I guess I could put the Slave 1 next to it now. I seriously have zero complaints about this set or anything in regards to it at all. And I would highly recommend checking it out. And that is my list. Let me know what your favorite MOCs are in the comments down below. Please remember to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, I'm probably going to make a full video for this at the end, but yes, the rest of the advent calendar videos will be coming out. I put a lot of effort into making them, and also I just would not have been able to keep up with my regular schedule during this month at all. Already having those videos finished is the only reason I can even make these bonus ones. With all that said, I want to send a huge thank you to my patrons who have allowed me to continue making these videos. If you would like to see more of these videos or more custom sets or minifigures, please do consider joining there, as it's the best way to make that happen. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.